Have you ever felt like you're screaming into a void, desperately craving attention, but only finding emptiness? You stand in a crowd, hoping someone will notice, yet the silence inside grows louder with every passing second. Attention, it's a need, a hunger, but does it ever really fulfill us? Today we explore the dramatic truth behind this desperate chase for recognition, and what happens when you stop begging for the world's gaze. You might just discover the one thing that's been missing all along: your own self-worth. You can scream and shout, but does it fill the emptiness inside? The hunger for attention consumes your soul, and still it leaves you thirsting for more. What you crave is not the spotlight, but the comfort of truly being seen. You are lost in the noise of the world, waiting for a moment that never comes. Loudness can never hide the truth within. The more you beg for attention, the more you lose yourself in the process. You stand at the center, screaming for the world to acknowledge your worth, yet find only hollow applause. Eventually the stage fades, and the silence feels more real than the cheers ever did. The world spins on its own axis, indifferent to your need for constant validation. But you keep spinning, desperate to make them notice, to make them care, to fill that void inside. What you don't realize is that the more you seek, the further you drift from the authenticity you crave. You've become a shadow, not of the world, but of your own desperation. In the echo of your words, you seek the validation of those who will forget you as soon as you're out of sight. Every shout for attention is a cry for something deeper, an affirmation that you matter, that you belong. But the applause you hear is hollow, fading with each fleeting moment. What you need isn't louder voices, it's peace with yourself. Chasing attention is like chasing the wind. You never quite catch it, and even if you do, it slips away just as quickly. Your worth isn't determined by how loudly you scream, but by the quiet strength that comes from knowing you don't need to scream at all. Still, you beg for the world to notice, missing the truth that true connection doesn't demand a spectacle. And in the end, the noise just becomes unbearable. Your every action screams for attention, but what is it you truly seek? You have become addicted to the spotlight, believing it will fill the emptiness within. Yet the more you demand, the more you realize that applause doesn't heal wounds. All the eyes on you can't replace the one truth that lies within. Your worth is not defined by others. You walk into a room and demand that everyone see you, but do they see the pain behind the performance? You give yourself away, piece by piece, just to be acknowledged, only to find that the world applauds the act, not the soul beneath it. You think more attention will bring you peace, but it only deepens the loneliness. The real battle is not with others, but with the fear that you aren't enough as you are. The desperate pursuit of attention only magnifies the emptiness inside. Every smile, every gesture, every word is a call for recognition. But what are you truly asking for? You long for love, for belonging, for acceptance, but the applause you receive is not the answer. It is the silence within that will fill the void, if only you stop begging for approval and embrace who you truly are. You thirst for attention like a parched traveler in a desert, but the oasis you seek is not as sweet as it seems. The more you ask for, the less you receive. For attention given out of pity never nourishes the soul. You have become a prisoner of your own need to be seen, but the real freedom comes from being content in the shadows. You'll find peace only when you stop chasing the spotlight and learn to bask in your own light. Attention is the drug you can't seem to quit, each high more fleeting than the last. You beg for validation, for acknowledgement, as though it will heal your brokenness. But when the applause fades, you're left with the same ache, the same emptiness you had before. You have to face the truth. No one can fill that void but you. You stand in the center of the crowd, but no matter how loud you yell, you can't fill the silence inside. Every shout for attention is a cry to be loved, to be seen, but all you get is a fleeting glance. The more you beg, the more you realize that your true worth lies not in others' eyes, but in your own heart. The stage is empty without self-love. Every moment you beg for attention, you lose a part of yourself. The applause you crave is a mask, a disguise for the emptiness that's growing inside. You think if they see you, they'll understand you. But the truth is, they only see what you let them. The more you reveal, the more you hide. You're caught in a vicious cycle, chasing after something you'll never hold: approval. You believe that attention will validate your existence, but all it does is magnify your insecurities. You could stand before the world, and still, the only applause you hear is the one you give yourself. The love you seek from others is already within you, waiting to be realized. Your cry for attention echoes through the vast emptiness, but no one hears the quiet desperation behind your words. You think if they look at you long enough, they'll understand, but they never see the part of you that hides in the shadows. The spotlight only amplifies the loneliness, and still, you yearn for more. In your pursuit of validation, you've forgotten what it means to be content with yourself. The world around you is a stage, and you're playing the lead role, but it's all a performance, one that you're losing yourself in. Every gesture, every word is crafted to catch the attention you crave, but nothing can fill the emptiness that grows deeper with every passing moment. The more you seek from the world, the further you drift from who you truly are. Your worth can't be measured by applause or admiration. It can only be found in your own heart. How long will you chase this illusion? The attention you seek is like a mirage, always just out of reach. You beg for recognition, but it doesn't heal what's broken within you. The more you demand, the more you become a stranger to yourself, lost in the need for others to tell you who you are. You can stand before the crowd, demand their eyes on you, but it's the quiet moments that will reveal who you truly are. Attention is fleeting. It's an illusion that fades as quickly as it arrives. What you seek from others will never fill the void you carry inside. Only when you stop begging for approval will you begin to feel whole again. You keep searching for validation from others, believing it will solve the ache inside you, but it's like trying to fill an ocean with a teaspoon. The applause doesn't reach your soul, and the love you seek isn't given. It's earned, starting with the love you give yourself. The more you beg for attention, the more you lose sight of the most important thing: who you truly are, with or without an audience. Every cry for attention you make is a desperate plea to be understood, but no one can ever truly see you unless you first see yourself. You think that the spotlight will reveal your worth, but all it does is expose your vulnerabilities. What you need is not a crowd, but peace within yourself. When you stop begging for attention, you will find the love you've been searching for all along. You demand attention as if it will complete you, but the truth is, nothing external can fill the emptiness inside. The more you seek, the further you drift from peace. The applause will never be enough to heal your wounds, and the eyes of others can never give you the self-worth you deny yourself. Only when you stop begging for recognition will you find your true worth, free from the chains of external validation. You stand in the crowd, hoping someone will see you, but the truth is, you're invisible in your desperate search for validation. The spotlight you crave is only a shadow, offering brief warmth before the cold sets in again. Each moment you beg for attention, you lose a piece of your authenticity, exchanging it for fleeting applause. What you seek in others can only be found within yourself. You think if you scream loud enough, the world will finally listen, but no one hears the silence inside you that calls for real connection. The more you chase their eyes, the further you drift from the truth of who you are. Attention can only mask the pain for so long before the emptiness comes rushing back. You need not the crowd, but the quiet voice that reminds you of your worth. How much more can you beg before you realize that no amount of applause can fill the emptiness inside? The attention you seek from others is like a band-aid on a wound that needs healing. It's not their gaze that will cure you, but your own acceptance of who you are, flaws and all. The truth is, the louder you ask for validation, the quieter your heart becomes. The louder you scream, the more you drown out the voice that matters most, your own. Attention is a brief thrill, a momentary high that fades once the lights dim. You spend so much time begging for the world to notice. You forget to see yourself. In the end, it's not the applause that will save you, but the quiet strength of knowing your own worth. You crave the eyes of the world, yet all they see is the mask you wear. Beneath it, there is a soul longing to be loved, not for the performance, but for who it truly is. Every time you beg for attention, you step further away from yourself. The love you seek from others will never compare to the love you can give yourself. Your every action screams for attention, but at what cost? You trade your peace for praise, your authenticity for applause. The more you ask for the world to notice, the less you feel seen. The truth is, the louder you beg for recognition, the quieter your soul becomes, lost in the noise you created. In your desperate bid for attention, you forget that true connection isn't found in the spotlight. It's found in the quiet moments where you embrace yourself. Every shout for recognition is a hollow cry when no one can hear the pain beneath it. The louder you beg, the more you lose of what's real. It's time to stop performing for others and start living for yourself. You beg for attention as if it will make you whole, but it only makes you more fractured. Each cheer you receive is empty, a fleeting echo that never fills the void within. The more you seek the world's gaze, the more you distance yourself from your own heart. The truth is, you'll only find peace when you stop begging for their approval. How many times will you beg for eyes to fall on you before you realize they never saw the real you? The applause you get is only a mask, hiding the truth that you are searching for something deeper. Attention is fleeting, but the love you give yourself will last forever. Stop begging for recognition and start embracing your own worth. The more you beg for attention, the more you lose touch with who you are beneath the facade. You think that if the world notices you, it will finally fill the emptiness inside. But attention is a fleeting thing, and the hole in your heart will remain long after the applause fades. The only thing that can fill it is your own self-love. Each plea for attention is a desperate search for something you'll never find outside yourself. You think the world will see you, but all it sees is a mask you've created to hide the ache inside. You shout, you perform, you beg, but the truth remains. Attention is fleeting, and it's only your own love that will stay. Until you stop chasing the spotlight, you'll never know what it feels like to truly be seen. You shout into the void, hoping someone will hear you, but the only thing you're truly calling for is the validation that only you can give. Every time you beg for recognition, you lose a piece of who you are. The world might look at you, but does it truly see you? The approval you seek from others will never be enough to heal what's broken inside. In your desperation for attention, you've forgotten the most important truth. You don't need to be seen to be valuable. The world will applaud the image you create, but the real you remains hidden, suffocating under the weight of expectation. You beg for recognition, yet what you truly need is peace with your own reflection. How long will you chase the illusion of attention, only to find that it leaves you emptier each time? The applause is hollow, the gaze is fleeting, but your self-worth is eternal. Stop begging for the world's approval and begin to honor your own existence. You don't need to perform to be worthy. You are worthy simply by being. Every moment you beg for attention is another moment lost to the world's approval. You wear a mask of smiles and laughter, hoping someone will see you for who you are. But the truth is, you're not living for their gaze. When will you realize that the most powerful kind of attention is the one you give to yourself? Attention is a cruel mistress, always out of reach and never enough to fill the emptiness inside. You beg for it, you chase it, but the more you seek, the less it satisfies. What you're truly longing for is not their gaze, but their understanding, their love, and you'll never find that until you give it to yourself first. You stand before the world, hoping it will see you for who you are. But what you fail to realize is that you've lost yourself in the search for approval. Every shout for attention pulls you further from the peace you desperately need. You beg for recognition, but the only true recognition you need is the one you give yourself. The more you beg for attention, the further you move from the person you are meant to be. Your every action is a plea for validation, a cry to be loved. But that love can only come from within. You have spent so long performing for the world that you've forgotten what it feels like to stand in your own truth. The louder you scream for attention, the more you silence the voice inside you that knows your true worth. You think that being seen will finally make you feel complete, but all you're doing is masking the pain of feeling invisible. The truth is, you were never invisible. You were just looking for love in the wrong place. You beg for attention like it's a lifeline, but it's nothing more than a fleeting escape from the truth you're running from. Each moment spent chasing validation is another moment you'll never get back. Stop waiting for the world to acknowledge your worth and start acknowledging it for yourself. You stand before the world, shouting for recognition, but do they see you or the version you've created for them? Every cry for attention is a plea for understanding, but the deeper you beg, the further you drift from your own truth. The applause is fleeting, and the silence beneath it grows louder. Only when you stop performing will you hear the voice within that's been waiting to speak. Each desperate plea for attention is like a whisper in a storm, lost and unheard. You think if they see you, they'll love you. But what if the love you need is the one you have yet to give yourself? The world's eyes are fleeting, but the gaze of self-acceptance is forever. You won't find peace until you stop chasing others' approval. The more you beg for attention, the more you lose yourself in the chase. You think that by being seen, you'll finally be understood. But the truth is, being seen is nothing if you're not truly known. The applause fades, but your soul remains, untouched, unfulfilled. Only when you stop performing will you be free to simply be. You crave the attention of the world, but the more you ask for it, the further you slip away from who you are. Every glance you seek from others takes a piece of your authenticity, leaving behind a version of you that isn't real. The truth is, what you're looking for isn't in their eyes. It's in your own heart, waiting for you to notice. Every cry for attention is a reflection of your inner hunger to be loved. But the more you beg, the more hollow the world seems. You are not invisible. You've just been looking for love in the wrong places. The love you seek cannot be found in the applause of others. It can only be found within. You beg for attention as though it will fill the emptiness inside. But all it does is make you more aware of how far you've strayed from your true self. The more you demand, the more you realize that recognition can never heal the wounds within. True healing comes when you stop begging for their gaze and learn to look inward. Your life has become a performance, and the audience is never satisfied. You beg for attention, thinking it will fill the void, but all you get is a fleeting moment of acknowledgement. The applause you hear is empty, and the world keeps moving on. The moment you stop performing, you'll begin to realize that your worth was never tied to their eyes. Attention is a fleeting drug, always slipping through your fingers. You beg for the world to see you, to love you, but each time they do, it only leaves you wanting more. You've become addicted to the high, unaware that the real cure lies in the quiet acceptance of yourself. Stop chasing their gaze, and you'll finally be able to see the person you've been running from. You give everything in search of attention, thinking it will fill the emptiness, but it only makes the silence louder. The more you beg, the more you lose touch with who you really are. You've become a reflection of what others want to see, not the person you were meant to be. The moment you stop begging for validation, you'll start to rediscover yourself. Your desperate cries for attention are like a flickering candle, barely holding on before being snuffed out. You beg for them to see you, but the truth is, you've stopped seeing yourself. The more you seek from others, the less you have for yourself. Peace comes not from being seen by others, but from recognizing your own worth. You've seen how chasing attention can leave us empty, and how real fulfillment lies in finding our worth from within. If this resonates with you, imagine what else we could uncover together in future videos. If you want to dive deeper into the truths that shape our lives, be sure to stay connected, because there's so much more to explore. If you found something meaningful here, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more reflections that could change the way you see the world. Remember, the journey to self-discovery is just beginning.